A musical talk mini from the rehearsals of You're a Good Man, Charlie Brown at the Tabard Theatre in Chiswick, West London. Hello, I'm here with Anthony Drewe. Hello.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm very well, thank you.
We are in my stomping ground of Chiswick, West London at the Chiswick famous pub theatre, the Tabard, and you are putting on...
You're a Good Man, Charlie Brown.
I'm not hugely knowledgeable about this musical. Is this the one that Andrew Lipper write new songs for this? Or?
He did. It was revived on Broadway in the late 90s. It was about 98, 99. And the original writer who'd written the music book and lyrics had died. And when they wanted to reinvent it for Broadway with a very starry cast, Christian Chenoweth, B.D. Wong, Roger Bart, amongst others, they asked Andrew Lipper to write, I think it was 3 extra songs for it. And I think the whole thing was then reorchestrated and sort of slightly more brought into the noughties rather than to the 60s.
And is this your directing this production?
I am directing this
and is that the one you're doing?
It is that one that I'm doing, yeah.
And there's a song about Beethoven in this?
There is a song called Beethoven's Day because the character of Schroeder worships Ludwig van Beethoven and he decides that Beethoven's birthday should be made into a national holiday.
I agree.
But he's rather discouraged by the rest of his friends when they want to try to over-commercialise it with Beethoven busts and Beethoven T-shirts and things. He doesn't want it commercialised, he just wants it acknowledged.
We're chatting before we started about pub theatres and how you started with them, didn't you?
Well, we started, George and I, as writers, we started small. All of our early shows were done at the Watermill. We started there with Just So in 1989, and then George did his version of Moll Flanders there. I did The Card. When I wrote the new songs for The Card, that started there. We did a review, Warts and All, there. I directed Snoopy there. So it is. I found when you have to work in a small space and with a small budget, you know, either as a writer or as a director or as a designer, you're forced to be more imaginative in a way, and that's what I've loved about working in small spaces before. I've directed at the King's Head. I've worked at the Watermill a lot, and within walking distance of where I live at Tower Bridge, we've got Wilton's Music Hall, the Union, the Southwark Playhouse, the Menier Chocolate Factory, the Unicorn, and it's you see some fantastic work being done.
They're all the hot spots at the moment.
They seem to be,
Ragtime's doing very well.
Exactly, and Company was fantastic at Southwark Playhouse, and I just saw Dames at Sea at the Union a couple of weeks ago. I find these spaces fantastic, and it for years we've been saying, wouldn't it be great to have a proper off-Broadway? And although we will never have quite the same as off-Broadway because we haven't got a district in which most of these theatres exist, these fringe theatres are gaining a great reputation for doing revivals of... Oh, the Landor was another one. For doing revivals of musicals, which wouldn't otherwise be getting done.
And more importantly, new musicals as well. They
are. Tomorrow Morning by Lawrence Hyde Wyth and amongst other things have been tried out in some of these fringe venues, which I think is also great because it's educating an audience into not only discovering these jewel-like little venues, but it's also encouraging them to take a punt on a new work.
And it also works. Oh, thank God for that! It also works well if you're doing a new show because it means you can focus on the text and the music.
Exactly. Yeah. George and I have always said, you know, of course it's lovely to, ultimately to get a Mary Poppins type production, but we've always said a show has to work around a piano, and if it doesn't, there's a problem. If you're trying to make your show work by too many special effects, it usually means there's something inherently wrong with the writing, I think. And George and I have always been advocates of making sure that the writing carries the show. You're a Good Man, Charlie Brown. You're in the 3rd day of rehearsals. Mm-hmm. Got a great cast. Leanne Jones from Hairspray is playing Lucy. Mark Anderson, who was in the park recently in Hello Dolly, and also on tour in Mary Poppins, is playing Snoopy. Lewis Barnshaw, who was in Just So here at the Tabard last Christmas, is playing Charlie Brown. And then we've got Adam Ellis and Nathaniel Morrison and Hayley Gallivan, making our cast of 6.
I saw Hayley Gallivan in the 25th annual Putnam County Spelling Bee.
You did? I saw her in Spelling Bee and I saw her in Spring Awakening, both of which didn't...
Oh, so did I then.
Yeah, both of which didn't quite make the transfer in the way they'd have hoped. But, I think she's a terrific performer. unwittingly, I had already met her a few years earlier because she did the card when she was at Arts Ed, and she played Mrs. Machin, the mother, which was the hardest role for a kid to play, and she really pulled it off. And as soon as she told me I was in the card, I remembered her face. I said, "Oh my goodness, you were Mrs. Machin, weren't you?"
Because, I mean, Chiswick is very musical theatre, let's say.
Yeah, it is. It's become, well, we've got Arts Ed just down the road, which is, it's been great. George and I have done Just So there, and I've worked with the students there on a couple of things, including Soho Cinders, actually. I directed a workshop of Act 1 of Soho Cinders at Arts Ed a few years back.
And were they the backing singers at the...
They were at a Spoonful of George and Me show, and again we're doing a concert of Soho Cinders coming up at the Queen's Theatre in October, and Drew McConey, who is a choreographer to watch, is absolutely the next Matthew Bourne / Stephen Mear. He's very talented.
Both of whom you've worked with.
Yes, and both of whom have heartily recommended Drew. Drew McConey just did Dames at Sea at the Union, and he's choreographing Soho Cinders for us using an ensemble made up principally of Arts Ed students.
So tell us about the piece you're directing.
You're a Good Man, Charlie Brown. It's a really charming little slice of life. Charles Schulz wrote all the strip cartoons, obviously, of the Peanuts characters, and it's been turned into two musicals, Snoopy the Musical and You're a Good Man, Charlie Brown, which actually predated Snoopy the Musical. And what I find charming about it is similar to what people find charming about the Peanuts cartoon strips.
Peanuts, isn't it?
Peanuts. Yes, anyone with a nut allergy should avoid. It's a slice of life seen through the eyes of children, but voiced with an adult sensibility. So it's got a sophistication of an adult being a child, and yet there's an innocence that's coming out of this child's mouth, which is totally understandable. When Lucy says that she thinks that the bugs push the grass up through the ground to make grass grow, you can sort of see where she's coming from, and yet it's given somehow an adult sensibility to the way she describes it, and is also, it harks back to an era of innocence when children were allowed to be children, and they weren't on their iPods, and they weren't on their mobile phones.
Kids these days.
But it's true. I mean, I'm 50 now, and I look back on my own childhood, which I suppose was an Enid Blyton sort of childhood. I was brought up in Kent, and we were allowed to go and play.
You solved crimes.
No, not quite. We probably caused a few. We were allowed to go and play in the fields and play in the chestnut woods, and there was no danger. I remember my mum telling me that she used to play tennis in the road because there were no cars back then in the late 30s, early 40s. Well, when I was a kid growing up in the 60s, there weren't the dangers. Nor were the distractions. You could go out to the ice cream van and buy an ice cream without thinking your child might be abducted. You could go and play in the woods without thinking you're going to be put in a sack and thrown over someone's shoulder. Yeah, all those things. And I think this, in the same way that when you see a film adaptation or read Tom Sawyer or Huckleberry Finn, there's an era of Americana when kids were just neighbourhood kids who met in front of their white picket fences, and they played, and they made up their own games, and they had their own philosophies, and they had their imaginary friends. And I think one of the charms of both Snoopy and You're a Good Man, Charlie Brown is it captures that sort of lost childhood that we all have.
And when's it playing? When does it start? How long does it go on for? How much is it? Where can they find out more information?
Well, it's playing at the Tabard Theatre in Chiswick. It is from the 4th of October to the 30th of October. And I think tickets are about £18 and £16 for concessions, and they're on sale now from the Tabard's box office or online.
And is it an orchestra or just
it's a band of three? We have Elliot Davis, who's a great friend of mine, who's musically directing the show, and Nick Winston choreographing it with Ewan Jones helping him. No, we've got a really good team, actually. I'm thrilled that people... I mean, what's great about this production particularly is that Colin Hilton, the producer for Pulling Focus, which is the producing wing here at the Tabard, has paid people, and so often on the Fringe...
I'm impressed.
I know, that's why we've managed to attract a really good cast. So often on the Fringe, people are doing it because they want that part, and their only shot at doing that part is if they do it pretty much for nothing. And here, I've managed to get a great cast together because they're all getting paid. And hopefully we'll get an audience, and it'll work out, and it'll set a trend that people performing in the Fringes actually get paid for doing it.
And it's a lovely space, isn't it? I mean, it seats quite a lot.
It does. It seats 80. It's stadium seating, so everyone gets a great view. There's a pub downstairs, which is very handy for after rehearsals and for the interval. And I've seen some great things here. I've seen A New Boy. Russell Laby has had great success here with Stigger the Dump and the Famous Five. Andrew Keats directed Just So here last Christmas, which got some great reviews, really better views than I thought we were going to get, because Just So's been around the block a few times, and when the same person comes and reviews it again, they don't usually change their mind. But we got some 4-star reviews and things for Just So last Christmas, and I'm hoping that this is going to maybe do something. And if producers come and see it, it's a sort of show that could slot into the Arts Theatre or into the Trafalgar Studio or something and have another life at a later stage, because this version of You're a Good Man, Charlie Brown has never been seen in London.
There you go, a European premiere, dare we say.
It sort of is, yeah. It sort of is.
We look forward to seeing it, and thank you very much, Ants, for chatting to us today.
My pleasure. Thank you for coming along.
Joined here by Hayley Gallivan. Now, I was absolutely entranced by you at the 25th Annual Putnam County Spelling Bee.
Thank you very much.
And now you're doing Your Good Man, Charlie Brown here at the Tabard.
Yes, very exciting.
Enjoying it?
Yes, delightful. We're just halfway through the 3rd day. It's all going very well. We're sort of heavily into learning the music at the minute. It's all going very well.
Are you familiar with the piece at all?
I've heard the American CD, the one with Kristen Chenoweth. I've heard that, obviously, because I knew this was coming up, so I listened to it quite a bit. So I'm vaguely familiar. But yeah, it's definitely been a bit mental the past couple of days.
You'll get familiar with the material.
I'm sure. Pressure's on.
Brilliant. We look forward to seeing it. Thank you, Hayley.
Thank you very much.
I'm here with Leanne Jones, who was the original Tracy Turnblad in the West End production of Hairspray. But now you're here doing Good Man, Charlie Brown, as we talked about. Tell us about your experience in the first 3 days.
The music is really intense, and from the recording it kind of sounds quite simple, I think. But yeah, it's really, really intricate harmonies and a lot of funny rhythms, and counting is not my strong point. So it's definitely a challenge at the moment, but it's a very joyful music, and a joyful story to be portraying as well. So I'm having the best time of my life. This is the highlight of my year.
Oh, that's lovely, Leanne. Thank you.
Thank you.
Here with Adam Ellis, no relation, and we're chatting about Your Good Man, Charlie Brown.
Hello.
Whom are you playing?
I'm playing Linus. Well, Linus is the philosopher of the group. He's the younger brother of Lucy, played by the lovely, delightful Leanne Jones, Olivier Award-winning actress.
She's in the room, in our presence.
She's in our presence. It feels like being in the presence of greatness whenever she's doing a scene with me.
She talked about finding the music quite challenging. Are you finding it quite difficult, or is it a breeze for you?
No, I can honestly say this is probably some of the hardest music I've ever had to learn. I think because there's only 6 of us in the cast, in a lot of the ensemble numbers, a lot of it is 6-part harmony. So it is really challenging. And Leanne does find it particularly hard picking up the harmony lines.
It's only been 3 days, so hopefully you'll all be into the swing of things.
Well, yeah, I mean, it is day 3 today, and we have nearly done the entire score, so we're not doing too badly. There's a lot of dictaphones, though, clicking around.
Yeah, well, mine especially. So
yeah, exactly.
Good luck with it.
Thanks very much.
I'm here with Mark
Anderson,
who's playing a doll.
Yeah, I play Snoopy in You're a Good Man, Charlie Brown.
Did you ever think you'd be portraying a famous literary character, really, isn't it?
Yeah, I know, and that's the most difficult thing, because obviously people come and he is so iconic, they don't know what to expect. Is Snoopy going to talk even, because he doesn't yeah, exactly, which he does, because it's a musical after all.
You'd expect it from the title.
Yeah, well, exactly.
And as you said, we're 3 days in. Are you enjoying it? Are you regretting signing the contract, or?
I haven't signed anything yet, actually. That's a point. I can get out of it at any point. No.
Do you want to get out of it?
No, not at all. No, it's really, good so far. We've learnt a lot of the music already. Most of it. All of it, even. Starting to get things up on its feet. And
not for you, I mean, you're on all fours for the...
He does stand up quite a lot. And that's the thing as well, it's finding a physicality with Snoopy, which, I know, you can't spend the whole show on all fours. That would be ridiculous. So it's whether to make him as dog-like as possible, or just to ignore that altogether. And so it's working out the limits, and if it's a mixture of those, what you do where. And he woofs a lot as well. So obviously the element of dog-like, things in there, but you've either got to go one way or the other. So it's...
And how are you finding Anthony Drewe as your director?
He's a lovely, lovely man. He's wonderful. I've had the fortune of working with him before. I played an animal in that as well, in Honk. I think he's got a thing for me dressing up as animals, but...
He's nodding his head in agreement.
So yeah, I'm happy, very, very happy. I would do anything for him, so I'm really happy to be here.
That's on tape. Thank you very much, and we look forward to seeing the show.
Thanks.
For more information about your good man Charlie Brown, please check out www.tabardweb.co.uk for more information. And here's a recording of the cast singing the opening song. This has been a Musical Talk production, copyright 2011.
Bird, with a heart of gold, you believe what you're told.
Every single solitary word.
You bravely face adversity. You're cheerful through the day. You're thoughtful, brave, and courteous.
And you also have some faults, but for the moment, let's just say
that you're a good man, Charlie Brown. You're a prince, and a prince could be king. With a heart such as yours, you could open any doors. You could go out and do anything. You could be King Charlie Brown. You could be king. Everybody says to me, you're a good man, Charlie Brown. Every voice in harmony. You're a good man, Charlie Brown. All I need is one more try. Gotta get that kite to fly. And I'm not that kind of guy who gives up easily. Wonder why they stop to say, you're a good man, Charlie Brown. Never liked me anyway. You're a good man, Charlie Brown. Trying not to rock the boat, not to make a scene. A good man, yes, but I confess I don't know what they mean. I wanna rise like I should and do everything right, but I lie awake at night, never sleep, with questions in my ear, loud and deep. I wanna join the dance, take the leap, but the answer isn't clear. Then I hear, Charlie Brown,
you're a good man.
You're a good man, Charlie Brown.
Get on the bus.
Go ahead, get on the bus, Charlie
Don't
Brown.
wanna be late for school.
That's right. Don't wanna be late. Don't wanna be late for school. You're a good man, Charlie Brown. There they go again. You're the kind of reminder we need. Don't know what they have humility, nobility, and a sense of honor that is very rare indeed. Between. You're a good man, Charlie Brown. I don't understand. You're a prince, and a prince could be king. With a heart such as yours, you could open any doors. You could be King Charlie Brown. You could be king. You could be king. Believe it. I've memorized that phrase by heart. And you were born for this part. So tell me, you're a good